Hello everyone, today we're coming at you with the new Star Wars action figure collection for 2020. It's that time of year again, and today we have a whopping 923 different figures. So the same rules apply, you'll see a different figure for everything, so like C-3PO from episode 4 is not going to be the same figure that you see in the episode 5 collection, stuff like that. And we'll be putting weapons in some of their hands. We have them all stored in boxes. Me and my brothers, they're toys. We don't really have them as collector's items. They still play with them and we play games with them, so they're very much toys to us. And they've been played with quite a bit. And we'll be showing some of our vehicles, some of the big ones that we really like. And that's about it. So let's get started with Star Wars Episode 1. So, we'll start with some of the droids, because I love the astromech droids. We got some pit droids down there, some of Darth Maul's probe droids, TC-14, and a whole bunch of the astromechs. We have all the ones that were on that Naboo starfighter. Over here we have some of the Tatooine people and the pod racers. I really like that Reese looking guy. Watto in the back. Over here we have Gungans, Boss Nass, Captain Tarpals, Jar Jar. Some Naboo soldiers, Captain Panaka, Padme, C-3PO, and Anakin. We have some Republic, so Palpatine, Chancellor Valorum, and a Senate Guard. Some Jedi back here. Jarl Poof is really cool. It's Eth Koth in the back, Yaddle, Evan Piel. We got a couple of Qui-Gon and Obi-Wans. Over here we have Separatists, so Newt Gunray and the Nemodian leaders. We got Darth Maul. And then the MTT. We love this piece. We had a bunch of battle droids. I think there are 25 that came with the MTT. And then we have the 4 separate ones that were released with the Episode 1 movie. And then 2 more. And one of the security droid. That does it for Episode 1. Let's get on to the next one. And then up next we have the Episode 2 collection, and which contains one of my favorite pieces of the collection. It's still the War Room Council. I think that's one of the coolest tables they've ever made. It's fantastic. And all the different separatist leaders are always cool too. Up front we have the Jedi army that stormed the arena. Coleman Trebor being one of my favorites. Got Luminara, Ayla Secura, a bunch of random no-name Jedi, which I always really enjoy. Pablo Gil, also really cool. A couple of the younglings, unfortunately when we bought them they didn't have their helmets or their lightsabers. We have the clone army, which has grown a little bit since the last one. Added quite a few white clones, a couple commanders. We got both of the Kaminoans and the young training clone and the old training clone. Over here we have a bunch of the background characters with C-3PO, Dexter Jetster, Orn Frita and his droids, a couple of the Senate guards and Navy officers, new astromech droids, love them. We have Tusken Raiders, not just the men, but the women and children too. We got the droid army, so a few Geonosian battle droids and super battle droids. Then other separatists, so we got Zam, Jango, Boba, Sunfak, another Dooku, the Reek, another Geonosian with his dog. And that does it for Episode 2. Let's get on to the next one. Up next we have the Tartakovsky Clone Wars series, and this is one of my favorite parts of the collection. This was the first outside movie Star Wars source I ever got, and I watched this a lot as a kid. So we have Captain Fordo and his ARC troopers are over here, the Hunt for Grievous battle pack, including the big gun guy. We got a scuba trooper and one of the poncho troopers. We got Dirge and one of his IG droids. We have back here two of my favorite figures in the whole collection. The 2 Jedi, Roar and Karab is one of my favorites. I love that figure. And it's Kit Fisto I played with a lot as a kid. Also one of my all-time favorites. Over here we have a couple more, the Mon Calamari and Quarren, and Snow Padme. And yeah, overall, I hope this part of the collection continues to grow. I think there's a few more figures out there to collect, but let's get on to the next one. Up next, we have my favorite part of the collection and also the biggest, Star Wars The Clone Wars. And bear with me, it's going to be a little cramped because there are a ton of guys. So we'll start over here with all the random people. We got Jawas, a bunch of bounty hunters. Ellis is one of my favorites. Embo, Pre Vizsla. You got Chewbacca, Mandalorian, Hondo, little Boba back there. A couple of Road of the Hutts. Now we'll get to the clone troopers. So we have Slick and his guys over there. Some white clone troopers, an ATTE driver. The ARF troopers. Some more white ones. Echo. Bunch of 501st. 501st ARF troopers, really cool. With some more 501st Snow Trooper. Echo and Fives. Camino. Red Eye Mixer. Jesse and Hardcase. We got Denal back there, he's one of my favorites. We got a bunch of Captain Rexes, Snow Captain Rex, a bunch of Phase 1 Captain Rexes, and then finally we got ourselves a Phase 2. Over here we have the 212th and the Geonosis guys. We got Bomb Squad Trooper, just a bunch of regular orange clones. Phase 1 and Phase 2 Cody. We have Jet and Geonosis troopers, Waxer and Boyle, Flame Trooper in the back. We have Wolf Pack, or the Wolf Packs. We got Phase 1, then Phase 2, or yeah, Phase 2 up here, Snow Trooper, Wolf, and Phase 1 Wolf, with Sinker and Boost, and a couple more Wolf Pack troopers. We got the Engineering Corps troopers over here. Then the Senate Guard, so we got Thorn, Thyre, Pond, Stone, Jack Reese, and a Riot Trooper back there, and a bunch of just regular Coruscant Guard, and a couple of Red Scout Troopers. And we have the 41st, so we have Phase 1 Gree, the Engineering Captain, we got Commander Locke, who's really cool, Doom, Camo ARF Trooper, some more green clones, we got Buzz and Jaw, I think their names were. Yeah, a couple more, the Hailfire Troopers. Then everyone else, we got Argaius, Clone Commando. We got Sky Corps, Training Clones, Scuba Trooper. And then the pilots, we have the Stealth Ops Troopers, the regular clone pilots, Oddball, Goji, Matchstick. Then up front we have all the Jedi, so Shaak Ti, Ayla Secura, the really cool Jedi Sentinel, Kit Fisto, who's my favorite Jedi, Barriss, Yoda, Mace Windu. We got a few wolves, or not wolves, Plo Koons, Kiadi Mundi, a bunch of Obi-Wans, Anakins, and Ahsokas, plus Admiral Yularen. Over here we have the ARC Troopers. Really proud that we have all of these guys, and we actually got all of these guys while they're in stores. We got them as kids. And this is my favorite guy in the entire collection. Next, we have some astromech droids. I always love the astromechs. We got a bunch of new green and blue ones. I really like them. We got that RA7 droid from the movie. Grievous on the floor because he's got no holes in his feet to stand up. Separatist leaders. We got Maul and Savage. Bunch of Geonosians. We got the brain worms down there. The undead Geonosian is really cool. Then the droids. So that's 6 super battle droids. One of them the rocket one and the heavy one. Aqua Droid, IG Droid, Droideka in the back, the Soda Pop Droids I always call them. A bunch of Commando Droids, a bunch of regular battle droids, including Geonosian, Spider Droid, Tactical Droids. We even have the little spiderlings it shoots out. And that does it for the Clone Wars. Let's get on to the next one. Next up, we have Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. So, we'll start with the clones this time. We have 5 white clones. One of them is a Jet Trooper. We got some of the mold guys. We have a bunch of the 501st. We got the blue Airborne Trooper and a couple of these heavy clones, plus Commander Oppo. We got the ARC 170 Troopers right there. We got 3 of them, and some Airborne Troopers in the back. Then we have some of the 41st Landing Troopers. We got one of their commanders up front. With the 212th, we got Commander Cody, just a regular trooper, a scout trooper. and Airborne. And then the Sky Corps, we had 3 different Commander Blighs, 2 of the regular troopers, then 1 of the Bark troopers. For the purple guys, we have a couple Commander Bakars. That one's new, it's got all his stuff. That one's very much been played with. Galactic Marine, I love that guy. We got some of the Mace Windu's Battle Pack troopers, I love those guys. We got one of the Airborns, some engineering, we got an engineering clone, and a couple of these copper guys. We got some of the green guys, we got Gree up front, that commander, that really rare scout trooper right there. A couple more scouts in the back, an ARF trooper, and one of the cool purple, gray troopers right there. Next up we have the Coruscant Guard, we have Thyre up front, and I think that's Devis, and some Bark troopers, Neo, and a bunch of pilots. We got 3 of the ARC 170 pilots, then a clone on the Bark trooper because he can only sit in that position. For Jedi, we have 3 Yodas, we have Mace Windu, Stas Alley, a couple of Obi-Wans, Plo Koon, Sassy Teen, Agent Kolar, a couple of Kit Fistos, Zet, Anakin, and we got Episode 3 Tarkin. Over here we have some of the senators and just other guys. So we got Padme up front. I really like the Mon Cala and the Reese senators. We have Bail and Mon Mothma. We got some more guys, so we got 5 different Wookiees. Tarful up front. Back here we have the Utapau guys, Mustafar. We have the Firefighter Trooper and a couple of the Nemodian guards. We have astromech droids. We got Darth Vader's one right there, the one that came with the ARC 170. Goldie, R4, Kit Fistos, and Plo Koons from those C-3PX battle packs. The green one, and then Episode 3 C-3PO. 3 different Palpatines. We got some Buzz droids back there. Imperial Guard. We got a couple of Grievouses, Droidicas, just a few droids. Commander, regular battle droid. Kashyyyk super battle droid, that one's really cool. And then the Crab droid and Spider droid, a couple of Vulture droids back there. And then the clone turbo tank. And that does it for Episode 3. Let's get on to the next one. Then up next we have Solo, a Star Wars story. So we have a couple of the Han Solos up front, him in his winter coat, the Kiras, and of course Chewbacca. We have Tobias and his gang, Ryu and Val. We got the cool speeder bike. Got the cool aliens from the movie, even though he's not an alien, he's still pretty cool. We got L3 and Lando. I think L3 looks really cool. And of course the cool Imperials. We got a couple of the 5 POA range troopers, the awesome vintage collection Mimban trooper, and a Han in disguise mud trooper. And all in all, I think this is a pretty good wave. Let's go on to the next one. And then up next we have Star Wars Rebels. So we have the main crew up here, Kanan, Hera, Ezra, Zeb, and Sabine. Still don't have Chopper. We got a really cool Fenn Rau, all of the Inquisitors that they released. And then we finally have a Grand Admiral Thrawn. We've been trying to get him for a long time. We know that there's cooler ones out there, but we'll take what we can get, and it's still a pretty good figure. And it adds to the collection quite nicely. And then, of course, the Rebels A-Wing. Alrighty, let's get on to the next one. Then up next, we have Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which still stands on being my favorite Star Wars movie so far. So we have the gang up here. We got Baze, Chirrut, K2SO, a couple of the Cassians, a few of the Jins, and Bodhi. We have Rebel Troopers over here, Admiral Raddus being really cool. Of course, I love Pound to stand back there too. And they're all really cool. I like the Rebels. And then we have Saw and his partisans. They got some big old rifles for not being able to bend their arms, which is unfortunate, but they're still cool figures. Then, over on the Imperial side, we have Director Krennic leading the charge. We have 4 Death Troopers, this one being a vintage collection, so being able to bend his arms, which is nice. A couple of Stormtroopers, Shore Troopers. We got Galen Erso with his Imperial uniform on, even though he's a good guy. We have a couple of Hover Tank Troopers, and of course, the vintage collection Hover Tank itself. And this thing is awesome. Really rounds out the collection. Alright, let's get on to the next one. And then next up, we have the movie that kick-started Star Wars off, Episode 4, A New Hope. So we have the gang up here, old men, Leia, Chewbacca, Han, Luke in his ceremony uniform, and R2. Up here we have the Imperials, we got a few Darth Vaders, bunch of TIE fighter pilots, bunch of sand troopers. I really like that dirty one back there. And a whole bunch of stormtroopers, including the really cool 501st Vader's Fist one. Got mouse droid, torture droid, a few officers, and a gunner. Over here we have a bunch of the background characters. Start with the droids up front. I love Star Wars droids. Astromechs are some of my favorite. So got 6 of those guys up there. Treadwheel droids, the legendary Gonk droid, a few more. We got Ambaru, a bunch of the Cantina patrons. I really like Hammerhead, he's one of my favorites. A bunch of Jawas. That guy back there is also one of my favorites. A couple of Greedos, a couple of Ponda Babas. Over here we have the Rebels. We have 2 or 3 fleet troopers, I guess. The comic Antilles, and then a Rebel Vanguard. And then the pilots. So we have the Y-Wing pilots up front with Dutch Vander, and then the Red Squadron, Red 1, Red 2, Red 3, no Red 4, Red 5 is Vintage Luke, and Red 6, which is Jack Porkins. And that does it for Episode 4. Let's get on to the next one. And then up next we have Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. So we have the main group up here. We got Vintage Lando, a bunch of Lukes, so Luke in his Hoth outfit, and 3 pilot Lukes. We have 4 different Hans, 3 of them in the Hoth outfit, and one of them Bespin, the vintage one. Got 2 Chewbaccas, 1 in snow, 2 C-3POs, ones that can break apart for the Lando scene, and 2 vintage Leias. Over here we have the Imperial side, so we have Veers, Piet, and Ozzel up front leading them. 4 snow troopers, 3 drivers, 2 snow scout troopers, and 2 more. I think they're Veers anyway. But we're here on the Rebel side. We have Riken, a snow speeder pilot, a bunch of Rebel troopers with the new vintage collection one right there. We have a Torin Farr and 2 officers. We have Yoda and Luke and the Dagobah. A bunch of the droids. I like the red R3PO. We have the Bespin group. Most of them are vintage. We have 1 Bespin Cloud Pilot and 2 Ugnaughts that aren't vintage. Everyone else is. And over here we have the Bounty Hunters. We have Bosk, Boba Fett, the one with the awesome flames that can shoot out of his jetpack, Zuckuss, a couple of Forlom, IG-88, and Dengar. Alrighty, that does it for Episode 5. Oh, and can't forget the Hoth AT-AT. Alright, let's get on to the next one. And then up next, we have Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. So we have some of the main characters up here. General Calrissian, 3 Jedi Knight Lukes, and Endor Han. We have the Imperials back here. We have 3 Palpatines, 4 Imperial Guards. That one's the nice articulated one. And that one's a lot shorter for some reason. We got 3 drivers and 3 scouts, and of course the Endor AT-AT. We have some astromech droids. I really love astromech droids. That one back's pretty cool, as well as the black and red dome one. We got old Force Ghost Anakin. We got a bunch of Ewoks. We got 6 vintage ones. We have vintage Wicket in the back, and just a bunch of new ones up front. Over here we have the Rebels. So we have 6 Rebel Commandos. 2 of them are the unshaved version, and then we have the bearded one right there, and then the articulated one. A couple of the older ones, or not the older ones, older than that one, newer than those guys. Those ones right there. We got 3 Admiral Akbars, the one with the vintage, not the vintage collection, but the one from Walmart. We got a Mon Cala tech officer, Crix Medine, Nia Num, a bunch of pilots. I always love the pilots, especially the Mon Calamari one, and the Twi'lek in the back, as well as the blanking on the species, but the Nia Num one. And then over here we have Jabba's people with the new Jabba's the prize vintage collection thing. We have Reese over there. Really like Reese. Some more of his guards. We got Jabba and Salacious Crumb. The frogs he eats. That detachable Han Carbonite. We got Squid Head, Yak Face. Some more droids. Lando in disguise. Han and Prisoner. And that does it for episode 6. Let's get on to the next one. Then up next we have The Force Awakens. And I also really like this movie. So, we have the main group up front, BB-8. A whole bunch of Poes. Poe at the beginning, a couple pilots, and him in his officer uniform. Got 3 different Rays. Rey without her hat, part of her hat, and her whole hat on. We got Finn, Chewbacca, and Old Han. We have some of the Resistance over here, and Luke at the end of the movie. So a couple of the pilots. Elasti is one of my favorites. Like Snap, Admiral Akbar, that cool droid. A couple of the vehicles, the 2 X-Wings, and Rey's Fudgesicle Pop Speeder. The Raktar. One thing this movie did really well with was all the aliens. We got Maz Kanata over here, and a whole bunch of just random aliens they threw in. We got the gang guys over there, Guavian Death Gang, and the other one. And then, of course, the First Order. So we have Kylo Ren, the wasted Captain Phasma, Hux, a few of the troopers, Flame Trooper, the cool one that came with a biker, or the speeder, and a couple pilots, and that is one of the technician guys. And that does it for The Force Awakens. Let's get on to the next one. And then up next we have the glorious movie, The Last Jedi. So we have the main cast up here, BB-8, a bunch of roses. Don't quite know why there's so many roses. You got Rey in her training gear, Poe, and Finn. We have some of the Resistance crew, and I really do like these guys. Kai Threnali in the back, and then these Starfighter pilots. I always love pilots. And a couple of the astromech droids from the Droid Factory pack. We have Luke and Leia, DJ, and a Canto Bight officer. On the First Order side, we have the Praetorian Guard, 2 of them. Unfortunately, not the articulated ones, but I love the Praetorian Guard. There's just something about the bright red troopers that I like. I've always been a fan of the Emperor's Guard, and I love the new Sith troopers. I just like the bright red troopers. Yeah, a couple of Kylo Rens, Snoke, Hux, 5 snow troopers with a commander, a leader, and one of the ATM-6 troopers. And of course, the Executioner Trooper. That does it for The Last Jedi. Let's get on to The Rise of Skywalker. And up next, we have the newest Star Wars material, The Rise of Skywalker. And I actually really liked this movie. Thought it was, it was nice after The Last Jedi. And we also threw in the Resistance characters we have, because both of these collections are so small. So we threw them there for good measure. And I also really like Resistance. So we have on the Resistance side, Sonara, Kaz, Eager, and Bucket. We have a couple of the Final Order. I don't remember. One of the Knights of Ren. These really cool Sith troopers. On the good guys side, we have Zori, Dio, and we got that Droid Factory droid pack. And these are all super cool astromech droids. And that does it. Let's get on to the next one. And next up, we have anyone else. Anyone else who didn't fall into a movie or video game characters or comic packs that didn't really fit into another movie. Everyone else is here. It's the hodgepodge. So up here we have the McQuarrie concept guys. We got the Snow Trooper, who became the Flame Trooper in the new Fallen Order. We got Chewbacca, the concept Chewbacca, who became Zeb species, the Lasat. We got 2 Sith, Plagueis and Malgus. I love those guys. We have Delta Squad in the back, Sev, Scorch, Boss, and Fixer. And then just the White Commando. Love those guys. We have a couple of Force Unleashed guys, a Star Killer, Evo Trooper, and another one. Those 2 troopers are in terrible condition. They did not survive our childhood at all. We have that guy, blanking on his name, from the Clone Wars game. Some Battlefront guys, Jet Trooper, love that guy, the Mechanic. I love all of these guys. Dark Trooper is really cool too. Then everyone else, this is the hodgepodge of the hodgepodge. We have a couple droids who weren't in any movies, like the Domehead a lot. Jodo Cast, Commander Faye, like the Imperial Officer. C3PX still missing an arm. If anyone has that, wants to sell it, send it to me, please. I'm begging you. We have Boltar Swan, and I believe that's Chewbacca. And that does it for the hodgepodge group. Let's get on to the next one. And for the final section, we have the 6-inch collection. We've never really had too many of these in the past. We've only had that Shock Trooper before, but we've gotten a few more this year, so I decided to throw it in at the end. So we have the awesome Commander Fox right there. We got the Shock Trooper, of course, super rare Mandalorian. We actually just got him yesterday and on sale. It's a pretty crazy find. Cara Dune right there, big old machine gun. Cal and BD-1, the Purge Trooper. Really like that figure too. And the Second Sister. And that does it for the collection this year, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave in the comments what your favorite character or favorite part of the selection is. And thanks for watching.